Hello everyone. Um, it's been a minute since I've recorded a video, sat down and recorded a video, but for good reason. If you follow the channel, you'll know that our channel is North Creative Design, so we run that business. We also run a second business that is for our retail store, and this year was our first time having full cruise ship seasons back, a full cruise ship season back. We had a cruise ship season last year, but it was kind of capped off. And so this year we didn't really know what to do. We kind of put all of our, I don't want to say eggs, but we put a huge investment into ourselves and it paid off. But with that, that takes time, that takes energy. And the last 2 years around this time, we have left the island. Last year we left for 2 months. You could watch the video of our RV trip. I'll link it here down in the description. And you know, we bought a travel trailer. We went 2 months. This year we only went for a month. We didn't take the travel trailer with us. We just thought it would be too much to haul around. We really wanted to get to our destination and kind of stay there. And so that's kind of why I've been absent from recording videos. I had put some serious thought into recording some videos while I was down in San Diego. I actually picked up a new camera in August when we went up to Anchorage. That's what I'm filming on right now, the Sony FX30. I want to talk about that one in a different video. I also picked up a Siri anamorphic when I was down south. But getting off topic, this video is going to be about my trip and this amazing camera, the Fuji Film x100v. If you follow the channel, you'll know I just made a video about this just a couple videos ago, but in reality it's been a couple months. I thought about creating a bunch of videos while I was down in San Diego, but I just realized we needed the time off. And even though my channel has somewhat picked up steam, I want to say that it has, but the reality is that most of my views are from the Fuji Film medium format video that I've done. I think we're at 14,000 plus views on that one now. Thanks again to everyone who's watched it. Thanks to everyone who's commented on it, asked questions. You know, I've tried to make all my videos kind of the same way that I did that one. That one has just taken off. In the other Fujifilm video, I thought it would be a little more interesting, but it didn't take off like the other one. Whatever. That's why we make videos, right? Some go good, some go bad. Lots of things happening as we get back in the shop. I want to do some more shop videos now that things have kind of settled down over the summer. We just picked up a new press, and I think my next video is going to be kind of focused on that and business. But the Fujifilm x100v. I wanted to revisit this camera after, you know, using it for a few months. If you follow TikTok or social media or anything like that, you'll know that this camera is probably the most popular camera out there right now. For the longest time, you couldn't find it anywhere. When I found mine, I had to pay like $400 extra on eBay. I did get it new, but you know, it still cost me a little bit more than what retail was. But honestly, even paying the extra $400, I love this camera. It's basically become my iPhone killer to an extent. Now, obviously, I still record videos on my iPhone. It's a little bit easier. The getting to video mode on this is kind of hard. I'm sure I could set up a button to quickly switch back and forth, but I just haven't done that because wasn't what I got it for. I got it just to capture memories and moments in my life. And if you watch the other video, you'll know that I think I talked about in there. My wife was giving me crap about how I never photographed any scenes with her and the kids or really much of that stuff, which I do, but I don't grab my phone a lot. I mean, we're attached to our phones all the time. And as a photographer, I like having my own photography equipment. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, the old sayings, the best camera you have is the camera you have with you, and that's great. But now I have this camera with me, and you know, the whole trip it was pretty much in my center console of my truck. It pretty much went everywhere. I captured tons of stuff. I mean, I still use my other cameras. I use my Fuji GFX 50S2. I used my medium format film camera. I used my 35. I think I shot about, between medium format film and 35 millimeters, I think I shot about 8 rolls over the 4 months, which I feel like is better than what I did last year when I was off the island. But I still end up shooting a ton of videos or photos on this thing. I took this thing into Universal Studios. We went to a concert, an Odessa concert. This thing went in no problem. I got some amazing photos. Obviously, I wasn't super close, so it's not like I got like, you know, if I was in there taking professional shots. But all the photos I took on this thing, I could tell what was going on. And as I mentioned before, I shoot RAW and JPEG, so I could go back and edit however I want. I spent a lot more time setting up my film simulations in this. I found one that I really love called 1981 Film Simulation, and since I was born in 1981, I thought this would be cool. So before I dive too much into this, into the 2 months and the trip to San Diego and just how much I love this camera, I wanted to just say thank you to everyone who comes and watches my videos. If you haven't watched any of the other ones, please do. I think if you want to follow the channel, we really appreciate it. I'm really trying to hit my goal. I didn't know if I was actually going to do it year one because I run my businesses, and running those businesses takes a lot of work. Where we live, there isn't a lot of job pools, so pretty much me and my wife do 90% of the stuff. We have people who are transitioning over, and we are trying to hire more people. But this summer was kind of that, just kind of learning what it's going to be like running a business with tourism back in full effect where we live in Southeast Alaska, what it's like running our normal business that, you know, tends to be pretty busy during the summer as well, and in balancing making videos and making money. So needless to say, anyone who's come to the channel, please watch some of the other videos. I'm still trying to balance doing reviews and also like bringing you guys into our day-to-day life, and you know, and bringing you along this journey. I feel like for us and our YouTube channel, we're, you know, a little bit unique because we do live on an island in Southeast Alaska. It is remote. We have a Walmart. We have, you know, that's it. I mean, well, we have a Safeway and a Walmart. I mean, we have other businesses obviously, but that is like our only big box stores. And so, you know, it's unique in us trying to run businesses. One we've ran for 8 years, going on 9 years now. The other one we have ran for 4. You know, we've kind of found niches and things to do to continue to grow our business. And I want to be able to share those with you, because I think if we can do it here, you can pretty much do business anywhere. And so if we can do it, you can do it. But this isn't talk about business. You know, if you do like the videos, please like and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And yeah, but I'm excited to talk about the trip to San Diego. I'm excited to talk about how I use this camera, what I love about the camera, you know, and does it really replace your phone? I mean, I kind of hinted towards it. And, you know, is it really worth the investment? I mean, can you find it? Is it worth hunting down? I know the rumor is that they're probably going to be releasing a new X100 series soon. But with that makes maybe this one will become more available. Prices might go down. And would it be something that you even find used as the new one comes out and people want to get the newest and greatest thing? So let's talk about all that stuff. Let's get into the video. And yeah, so I'm just going to first say we did leave the island for about 4.5, 5 weeks. We left the island last year, as I just mentioned. And I really am happy that I picked up this camera when I did, because I feel like it just allowed me to take photos. And now, would I say that a lot of the photos I took on this camera are amazing? I mean, probably not, you know, but is it easy to take photos, and is it fun, and did I enjoy it? Hell yeah. I love this camera. I put it around my neck. It's easier to just walk around and take photos with this thing than grabbing your phone out of your pocket. You know, it's just there. You know, you walk around, you know, you're going to go somewhere. Like we went to the Odessa concert for our anniversary, me and my wife's anniversary. And a lot of these places, they won't let you have DSLRs with attachable lenses or anything. So puts out pretty much all my cameras. You know, the phone zooms in the evening are not the greatest, and you know, the photos are okay. I mean, I got some cool video. We weren't super far back, so I was able to get some pretty good stuff. We were just literally like a few rows out of general admission. I think one section up. Actually, not even a section up. I think we were like 10 rows, 12 rows from general admission. So we were close enough to the stage. But I found this thing being around my neck more, dancing, doing whatever, enjoying the show. And I would just grab this more than I grab my camera. I grab my camera and do a few videos so I didn't have to switch back and forth. But most all the pictures I took on this thing, and I just loved it. We also went to the beach a lot. We went to, you know, even just at home swimming. I just found myself taking this out, photographing the kids in the pool. I spent a lot more time loading up more simulations. I think I got all but one filled out now, and I just love them. If you don't know where to find simulations on these, there's a site called Fuji Weekly, and you can actually just download the app and grab all the stuff on there. It'll actually tell you on the app what sensor it's using, and what cameras it goes for. So it takes all the guesswork out. So I can go look on the app, find what what simulation I want to put in, make sure that it works for the X100v. I mean, they all work. I can put whichever one in here, but the people make it specific for the sensor, and each sensor kind of has some different settings in the menus. Like some don't have the color chrome, blue cast effect or whatever. So you just want to find what they were focusing on when they made the film recipe. Usually I think this is the version 4 sensor. The XT5 is the newest version 5 sensor, and you just go in and you can add it, and most of the settings for that sensor are the same. My favorite thing about this thing, I mean, obviously the camera is quiet too. I just feel like when you hold a camera phone up, people tend to see it a little bit more. Like, it's weird because, I mean, this thing is bulkier, but I don't even know how often I stand back and it just took a picture. Like here, I have it on now. Let me just zoom in. I mean, you can't even hear the shutter click. You know, once you start learning the dials, it's definitely got the film feel. I can change my ISO settings real quick. I usually shoot at 640 ISO because a lot of the dynamic range is set for 400. And if you know kind of about the dynamic range part of it, there's 100, 200, and 400. There's also auto, which will just automatically change it. But I noticed with the Fuji simulations, a lot of them have a certain dynamic range. So I want to at least just be on the ISO that's shooting that dynamic range. So like the Portra 400, the dynamic range is 400. So I don't shoot any less than 640, because less than 640 will be down to 200. And I think less than 400 ISO is down to dynamic range 100. And so I just try to keep that matched. Now I'll go up above that if I'm shooting in darker situations and stuff. And because I'm shooting raw, it doesn't do anything. The one thing I also notice is, unless you're shooting in auto mode on the aperture, your exposure composition doesn't work. So if you think that you're exposing and you want to do a +2, I notice it doesn't work unless you're in the auto aperture mode. I don't usually use the auto because I feel like it kind of makes the photos not look how you want. Now this is a rangefinder-ish camera, so you can look through here. There is some dots and there is some stuff on it, but I can't see the exposure. Again, I'm sure you can do it. I haven't messed with it that much yet. I only can see the exposure changing when I'm looking at the screen. Another thing that I learned about this when I was using the rangefinder is there's a little box around it, and pretty much anything in the box is what your picture is. Anything outside of the box is just the view, but it's not going to show up in the picture. So don't try to frame it for the whole screen, because it's not going to work. Let's talk about how I use this camera while we were gone. When we left, we leave by ferry. If you ever want to see Alaska and are looking to kind of take your time but don't want to do like a cruise or something, drive to Bellingham, Washington. There's a ferry terminal there. It's called the Alaska Marine Highway System. It is our main kind of source of transportation in and out of Southeast Alaska besides planes. You can only get here by planes or boat. And you can also see some of the other places in Southeast Alaska. I use this thing a bunch when we were on the boat. I just took a bunch of pictures of the kids walking around the boat, a bunch of pictures of some of the scenery. I mean, I've seen the scenery so many times. I don't even know how many times we've been on the boat now. Got to be at least a dozen times. Even though I've done the route a bunch, I still enjoy going out and looking at some of the lighthouses, some of the mountains, depending on what time of the season it is. You can see different stuff. Like this year, the sunsets were really amazing. Everything looked very contrasty. So got some cool photos. Obviously, I used my Sony FX30 a lot to film. I kind of use that as my main film camera. I use this as my main photo camera, and it went well together. You know, I just grabbed which one I wanted out of the backpack, and I kept this slung around my neck. And if I need to grab the Sony, I would. So went into Washington, took some photos in Washington. We actually went out to a place called Silver Falls State Park, took some photos there. Obviously went all the way down to San Diego, took some photos on the road trip. Didn't take as many photos as I thought I would on the road trip. I wanted to stop more, but the reality was we were trying to get to our destination. And to get to the destination when you have kids, you know, takes a lot of driving. It was a lot of driving each day just to get to a location we wanted to be at a decent time. In San Diego, I mean, I took photos at Belmont Park, which is the roller coaster area, the beach on Belmont Park. I think it's Mission Beach. We stayed at a place on Mission Beach our first night. I took photos there. I pretty much everywhere in San Diego I took photos, everything we did. And I would say that it felt right. Like I felt like I could capture stuff of not just me and the kids or the wife playing. I could capture other people doing stuff and not feel intrusive. I would definitely say that this is amazing little street photography camera. I don't really consider myself ever a street photographer, or I've done photojournalism in school and stuff, and I enjoy it, but where I live there just isn't much of that. Like I could go around and probably take photos of tourists all day long, and that's cool, but it's just a lot of them. And I think that tourists are, I enjoy the tourists, but I don't know that they're subjects I really want to focus on photographing all the time. But when we were on the trip, I mean, I found myself just taking pictures of the kids candidly. I didn't have to worry about them always seeing everything I was doing, taking photos of the wife, taking photos of people surfing, hanging out on the beach. There was a guy who was doing some fire juggling on Ocean Beach one night, and I got some photos and video of him. And, it was just... It just did what I needed it to do. And that's why I think this is an amazing camera. And that's why I think it went on TikTok. And, why it's blown up on TikTok. Plus, you get the app, the Fuji app. It's not rated very high, but it does what it needs to do. I connect the camera to my phone. I send the photos to my phone real quick. And in 20 minutes, I've gotten a photo carousel up on my TikTok of the photos for the day. And I did that quite a lot when I was on the trip. I mean, I put up my Belmont Park photos like the next day. It was just like a photo carousel on TikTok or Instagram. Pretty much everything we did, I instantly got up. I took it in Universal Studios. Obviously you can't wear most of the stuff on the rides. It's all like high intensity stuff, thrill rides and stuff. So I didn't want to break it, but we did Harry Potter. We did the Simpsons area. There was a couple other areas we did, and I photographed all that on here. I mean, I got to see the Harry Potter world was pretty immense. I would say that it's comparable to, I don't know if it's as good as Star Wars, mainly just because I love Star Wars and Disneyland, but, for Universal Studios, outside of Super Mario Nintendo World, which we also did, and I took a bunch of photos on, got to take photos in the line to Mario Kart experience, which... even just standing in the line was a crazy experience. So I got all sorts of photos of what the line looked like, what, the characters and stuff you see. The thing I think that Universal did, especially with the Super Nintendo World, that Disney is lacking is the line didn't feel boring. Like it felt like I had something to look at all the time, at least for the majority of the rides. Super Nintendo World was cool. I took a bunch of photos on that. Took a bunch of photos of the Harry Potter world, all the buildings and stuff, and is an easy, effortless camera to use. And so you may be asking yourself, like, what's the point of me making this video? Like, what am I getting at? It's not really a review video. I just kind of wanted to talk about, you know, spending a couple months with this thing. I really think that Fuji has done a very good job in having their looks that people enjoy, making it easy for and cheap, because film has become expensive and has been expensive for probably a good year and a half, 2 years to develop and do stuff. And, you know, I'm not giving up film. I still enjoy shooting film. I'm not using it as much as I'm using this, just because I enjoy getting the photos quickly. I enjoy having the film simulations. Obviously, it's not the same as film. I mean, let's be real. It's just not. You get a good film photo on Portrait 400, the contrast just hits different. Like film, if you shoot film, you just know it hits different. And I think that's why everyone's attracted to film. It just hits different. But these film recipes come close. If you're really looking to ditch your phone, or you're looking for something that's a step above your phone, I mean, obviously this is, I think retail price before all the price gouging happened was like $1,200. I mean, your phone's $1,200, right? It's still not the cheapest camera, but if you're shooting cool street photography, if you do a lot of travel, if you know, just want to capture life's memories and go on a hike and have this thing, it's lightweight. I mean, it's not heavy. I mean, let's see. I would say it's slightly heavier than my phone with a case on it. I mean, it's not super heavy. It fits in your hand pretty good. You can carry it around your neck. It's not cumbersome. And just take photos all day. I can go on a hike. I can take photos on the hike. I just bring it up. I shoot it. I move along. I don't have to reach in my pocket. I don't have to grab the phone thing. I don't have to, you know, set it all up. I just set my dials real quick, and I'm good to go. And and if you are even more of a hurry, just set it to auto. Put your compensation like, you know, a +1 and shoot your photo and see how it turns out. I feel like the viewfinder, because you can hit the play button and see the photo in here, is really nice, especially on bright days. You know, and you can just go into places and be kind of discreet about it. We stopped at Everett. I went to Funko. I took photos because it's like a 14,000 square foot building, and they have all sorts of scenes designed. I took a bunch of scenes in there. I mean, it works really good in low light. You know, obviously it's an APS-C sensor, so it's not going to be the best low light without noise, but the film recipes put noise into it anyways, and that's what people love about film cameras and all that stuff. So I don't really scrutinize the photos. I just enjoy them for what they are. I don't have to edit them. I think in a world where especially everything is looking so clean and so good, you got to spend so much time editing. I remember when I was back in college, I remember I did this zombie photo, and I spent 8 hours plus editing this photo. It was a composite photo I did, and I mean, I love editing. I love Photoshop. I love Lightroom. But do I want to edit every photo? I mean, do I want to have to go in and do stuff, or do I just want to take a photo and have a cool little style on it? And I think that's what I've learned as I've grown as a photographer, is that each camera kind of has its purpose, and I don't want to take a photo all the time. And sure, I grabbed raw. I may edit it someday. I mean, who knows? Like, I'm giving myself that freedom to choose. But the simplicity of it allows me to just enjoy photography for what it is. Photography is art. Photography is what you make of it, and photography is what you enjoy. Now, I'm sure back in the days when other people were photographing and film was kind of taken off, people just brushed it off. That's why you see all sorts of old stuff in garage sales, in estate sales. But that was someone's art. That was someone's vision. That was someone's, capturing a moment in time. We don't get time back. And that's why I love photography, is time is the only thing you will never get back. Time is gone. 2 seconds ago will never be here again. And I love capturing moments in time. And I think that is what Fujifilm has allowed me to accomplish. And I think where people for so long, even before social media and stuff, kind of steered away and just moved to the greatest and latest, And I never thought in a million years, as a professional photographer and someone who had professional gear, that I would go back to a point and shoot and be like, you know what, I enjoy this. But I do. And sure, maybe that was influenced by watching other TikTok videos. Maybe I was influenced by seeing what other people were doing. You know, maybe it was influenced by my wife saying I didn't take enough pictures of her. But I did it. I would say if you go out and get one, get yourself the adapter, put a black, I got a 1/8 black Pro Mist filter on there. Makes it even more film-like, less sharp. But this is an amazing camera, and Fuji has done very well in their lines of camera work. They have very distinct looks. You can put simulations on them. You can create your own simulation. Like if you are super into that, play around. Like as I've built the simulations and do them, because you do every single one by hand, like I kind of know what settings for like R and B on the spectrum give me what color casts I want. And you know, I've learned what the different effects do, and like the noise strength and all that stuff. And so, you know, I might even work on one myself, but it gives you some freedom to create right in the camera and enjoy it. You know, I mean, there's other cameras if you're looking more for high-end stuff. I mean, Leica has a ton of point and shoots that are similar. I mean, Leica has its own look, and I think that's what you know, has drawn people to Fuji, has kind of changed the wave, is that people are looking for kind of different looks, and I think Fuji Film has done a good job of allowing you to create your own looks, but also having kind of that Fuji Film-esque feel to it. And so I didn't really like have a set idea of where I was going with this video. I'm hoping that by watching this video, if you are on the fence about getting this camera, you totally go out and buy it. I would say that with the Fujifilm GFX50 video that I did, I kind of talked about how it's very, like, if you want to do landscapes, if you want to do film, weddings or this or that, it wouldn't really do good for sports. Now, again, I don't think that this would be the greatest sports camera, but I used it in a concert. I've used it for some landscapes. Obviously, this thing ain't replacing my bigger cameras for landscapes, but if I'm just walking around doing stuff, close-ups, fall leaves, this thing is great. I love it. I had a friend who messaged me who has a pretty decent YouTube following, and they do their videos and stuff, and he asked me what I thought about the Fujifilm, and if he said he was thinking about getting it. They were going to New York. He ended up getting it. He's very happy he did. I haven't asked him his thoughts on it since he's been back. I don't even know if they're back from New York, but I haven't talked to him much more about it. But he was super stoked about getting it, and I want to feel like, hey, him talking to me about the camera hopefully helped him decide to get it. And I think that's cool about the film world and doing reviews. And I could go over tech specs about all this stuff, but art and photography is about feelings. It's about creating what you want to create. And I think this camera does it. I mean, if you're looking to just get into it, I mean, the build quality is good. The Fuji laser, I mean, it just looks sleek. The camera shutter, yes, there is a sound. I went and turned it off. So you can have shutter sounds, but I just like being discreet about it. I like not, people knowing I was taking photos and just enjoy the moment. And you can do that. And I've had so much fun with this camera, and I'm so looking forward to continue to capture photos with this camera. Now that it's fall and stuff, I'm really hoping to get back, and I'm back from my trip. I'm really hoping to kind of get back into doing some more of the stuff I've been liking, which is a little bit more moody. It's raining again here. Kind of just hope to go out and explore a little bit more, take more photos with this, just have fun with it, take photos of the kids. It's really an amazing camera. You're a wedding photographer, you want to do a little bit more discreet stuff. I mean, people are into this now. You could offer this as an extra service. Like, why not? Everyone expects regular wedding photos. Like, why not have that candid JPEG looking point and shoot? Like, why not offer it? Make it, unique or whatever. Street photography, obviously amazing. I went into Old Town San Diego. I captured so many murals with this thing, and I just loved it. I mean, I found myself in San Diego wanting to capture murals more than anything. I just thought they were so cool. I really love this camera, and I really think that if you found this video and you're questioning going out and get this camera, even if you have to pay more money, like, get it. Now, obviously, with the rumor that they're making a new one, rumors have picked up, but I haven't seen anything new come out lately about it. You could wait for the new one, but I think that if you're really on the fence about this thing, just get it. Or if you find the last version, I don't know what the specs are on it. I would compare, but I would say that even the version before this is probably good enough for what you're looking to do. Way better than my camera phone. You know, no matter what iPhone says or does, I enjoy the photos I get off this way more than I get off my camera. I barely use my camera phone for photos anymore. You can use the film simulations on video on here too. I have filmed a few things. I will probably, you know, obviously stick to my Sony or my cinema cameras. I don't really see myself using this for video. The videos look fine. If you're looking to do just some easy content stuff, by all means. I'm not dogging the video capabilities on this. I think it works really well. I just don't think that it's for me. I would rather just keep this as my around the neck, walk around, take photos, and capture moments, and capture the moments in time that I want to capture, and make the art that I want to make, and feel happy about doing photography, and feel happy about photography also feeling like a hobby. Because if you do photos for work, if you do any of that stuff, it's really hard sometimes to get out and actually still want to do it for a hobby. And I think sometimes finding that new gear, even though people say you could be a gearhead or you just buy all this new gear, sure, you may, but does it make you happy? Does it make you want to be creative? Does it make you go back to your other cameras and appreciate what you have and know that it's for a specific use? Does it make you want to further yourself and further your career by just going out and being able to photograph for yourself? And so I'm going to end the video with that, because I didn't really have an ending for this, but I think that's a good ending. If you love doing photography and you feel like you might be in a rut or feel like you're looking for something new, I would say get a Fuji Film. Whether it's the x100v, whether it's an X-T5 or X Pro 3 or any of the older ones, do it. Get into the Fuji Film ecosystem. You will love it. I have loved it. I have loved both of my Fuji Films. I would say for my photography cameras, that is where I'm going. I have given my wife the Canon R5. She uses that, and it's nothing against the Canon R5. It's an amazing camera, but I feel like for me and what I do now in my photography, I have just loved what Fuji Film has done. I love my medium format camera. I love this camera. I think at some point down the road, I would love to get an X-T5 or something, and I could have just gotten that instead of this, but I didn't want another lens at the time. I had too many lenses. You know, I'm enjoying my Sony FX30 for filming, and yeah, and that's the ecosystem I'm running now. So with that being said, I'm going to call this one good. I'm out of here. Until the next one.